Okay, hi everybody. I just wanted to show you that fun flying bird impersonation before we begin our YouTube recording here. Again, we're trying to focus right now on the upcoming Year of Faith, which is been initiated by His Holiness Pope Benedict to dedicate ourselves to learning and living and practicing this great Catholic faith with greater intensity for the next year. And so we'll be able to do that here and in other parts of youth ministry. But anyway, I just wanted to continue this project. And as you know, we're going to be taking a couple of topics and readings from the book by Mark Hart and Todd Leemix, which is called 100 Things That Every Catholic Teen Should Know. I have that book right here, excuse me. Here it is again. Okay, good little book. That is a question and answer format for 100 of some really common questions that are asked regarding our Catholic faith. Very easy to understand, very clear, and very wonderfully written. Of course, you all know that coming up in youth group when we begin in about a week and a half, I'll be giving all of you a copy of this book so you can read it yourself. But before we get into the book, I decided that I need to maybe share a few things just about a more personal journey in my own spiritual life. And so today's, I guess, talk is going to be more of a witness talk instead of like a catechetical talk, I guess. And I'm just going to try to do my best to share with you some of the things that have worked for me in my own relationship with God, and some of the ways that I pray, and some things that have helped me to seek and to find God in my life. And so so I'm just going to share some things with you. And I wrote down a couple of funny stories, good stories that I need to talk about. I have a lot of them, I guess. So every once in a while I'm going to have to read this little piece of paper. Sorry about that. I just can't remember all of this. And I've called this talk the Benjamin's Traditional 10-Step Plan to Caring for My Soul. Yeah. So that's what I've called this. Anyway, it's going to be about prayer and kind of how I pray and what's helped me. So yeah, if it serves to help you, then I'm grateful. If not, sorry about that. You'll have to tune in next week for the next YouTube topic. But anyway, I hope it does. So here's what I do. Benjamin's Traditional 10-Step Plan to Caring for My Soul. Today and right now I'm going to give you the first 3 steps. So the first step that I attempt to do is practice the presence of God. The second step is to allow God to love me frequently and to really get in touch with that, to strive to get in touch with that. The third step is do my very best to love God in return in all things. So yeah, nothing like rocket scientists so here, but just things that have helped me, and I hope maybe they can help you in your own relationship with God. So, practicing the presence of God. Well, a while back I read this cool book written by Brother Lawrence of the Resurrection. He was a holy monk, and he basically said in this little book that is a basic principle in our Catholic faith and theology and spirituality, and that is simply God is always in our midst, and we cannot escape that. Technically, you can kind of escape that when you sin mortally, but anyway, we're not going to talk much about that today. We are just going to talk about this principle in God, in His life, that He is a complete spirit. And there's all kinds of cool words like He's omnipresent. I don't even know how to spell that, but anyway, he's everywhere. God is everywhere. And I think people know that in general. We can't see Him. He's invisible. So it's good for us to think, and this is what I try to do as best as possible, to realize that God is always around us. He's always present. And the more that I actively place myself in the real presence of God all the time, at every moment, no matter what I'm doing, if I'm in church or not in church, if I'm in the bathroom, if I'm with my family, if I'm in this office where I work, driving my car, whatever I'm doing, I attempt to actively place myself in God's presence. And so you can imagine it's very similar to going into the Eucharistic Adoration Chapel here at Holy Rosary Wea. Like, you act differently there, you do things differently there, you present a deeper reverence to God, because you know sacramentally He's right there in your midst, right? Why don't we do that all of the time? And so when I read this book, I was really changed. Brother Lawrence of the Resurrection, practicing the presence of God, simply attempting to place myself in God's midst all of the time, no matter what I'm doing. If I'm suffering, if I'm confused, if I'm lost, if I'm full of joy, whatever. I'm watching movies, I'm hanging out, I'm going to football games, whatever I'm doing, I'm attempting to do that, and that's really, really helped me. And in effect, it changes you. Think of that story with Moses, who would always go up the mountain to talk to God, and he'd receive the Ten Commandments there in Mount Sinai, and he would always come back with his face illuminated, and the people, they would be like, oh my gosh, you know, Moses has been hanging out with God again. He's been changed, okay? So that's really helped me, and that's step number one. Okay, step number two is allow God to love you always, and that's just, you know, I don't know, I think that's too simple. And I'm a simple person, but yeah, it is very simple. Allow God to love you always, and practically, I think that we talk about this often, we think about this often, we hear it in church often, and stuff like that, but how many of us really experience God loving us directly often? And I'm reminded of one of my friends who I went to school with, and he's a priest now, and his name is Mike Swanton. I call him Swanee, that's his nickname. But he would always say to me, you know, when I pray, this is my conversation with God. I sit down and I say to him, God, love me right now. I need you to love me. Love me, God. Love me right now. And whatever we are experiencing, or whatever we are thinking or feeling, if it's hard or if it's beautiful and peaceful, whatever, that's how we are. So we're coming before God, and you can ask Him just to love you, and to think of that, and to desire a deeper understanding, and pray for that grace, that God He does love you, and you live kind of a new life, a life as the beloved of God, more and more and more. So I really encourage you, and I'm just sharing, this is my own personal situation, in this 10-step plan for caring for my soul. I try to do this all the time and as much as possible, to imagine and to think and to wonder about God's love for me. Recently I've become a father. I guess not recently, I've been a father for 3 years, and then we recently had our second child, Anya, and most of you have met her. But one thing that God does in fatherhood is He basically takes His hand and He reaches into my poor heart and He stretches it out like 10,000 times. And I love my children so much that sometimes it hurts. It's like the most beautiful thing, and you'll get to experience that, and parents, you know of that. But if I, as a man, can love my kids and have my heart stretched like that, you know, I just think to myself, the love of the Heavenly Father who loves me, if He loves me even half as much as I love my kids, then everything is going to be fine. So somehow find a way to get in touch with God's love for you. Okay, the last stage for today is do your very best to love God in all things. Isn't that an interesting step? So the first step, the presence of God. The second step, allow God to love you. The third step, love Him in return. Okay, so again, now we're getting into an understanding of relationship. How do we do that? I just try to will that and to say it frequently in my day. God, I love you. I'm thinking of you. I offer you, you know, whatever. I offer you. In fact, Isaac, he's potty training now. And this is about to delete, I think, my talk. But Isaac is potty training now, and so sometimes he urinates all over the floor, and I have to clean it up. And I think to myself, oh my gosh, that's a dad duty. Well, it's a suffering, and so in the action of me cleaning up urine on the floor, I say, God, you know, I offer this to you in love. And I try to actively then, in the course of my life, in my day, my simple day, offer these small moments of love to God. So, that's all that I have time for. I have to turn this video off because I can't ever extend past like 11 minutes. So, God bless you all. 3 stages of the 10-step plan for caring for my soul that I just wanted to share. Those are some 3 steps to think about, and I'll bring the other 7 steps soon.